I'm Savona, and welcome back to the Indie Pop-Up, your source for everything Black and Indie. We have a really exciting episode for you today. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. We always get a couple gems with every person or every group of people we talk to. So I'm really excited for you guys to see what we got for you today. Yes, so we have the Brown Beauty Authority herself, Kimberly of Marjani Beauty, co-founder of the Brown Beauty Co-op. So, rather than continue to go on and on about all of her things, we will flip to the interview. Enjoy. Today we have Kimberly, owner and founder of Marjani Beauty, and the co-founder of the Brown Beauty Co-op, based in the DC area. Well, DC proper, not even the DC area.
Right.
In there. Not even a DMV situation. Like the Brown Beauty Co-op is DC. It's the cutest place ever. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, so excited.
I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So we're just going to jump right in. I know that you have a background in law. So how did you gain an interest in beauty? How did we get here to Marjani?
Yeah. So I came to beauty as a consumer. I was like you both. I was a beauty junkie, into makeup, into hair, into like all the things, skin, everything. And I don't think if you would have met me 5 years ago, that we would have even imagined that this conversation would have happened, because I did not see a career in beauty at all. It really did come from a pain point, which we know so many Black women-owned businesses come from a problem that we're trying to solve oftentimes. Right. And when it came to shopping for beauty, I just felt that there was just such a opportunity for us to have a space, a sanctuary, if you will, where we could go and shop for beauty, but shop for beauty with more intention, and shop for beauty where it was all about us. So not going into a store where we can't find certain products, or the people that work there don't really understand what we're looking for or understand our particular issues, but go into a place, know that products are for you, look around and just feel that like it's for us. It's for you, it's for us. And people that work there look like you, people that own it look like you, people that the products, they look like you, people that are the brand owners. And I thought, well, maybe something like this exists, and maybe I just don't know about it because I'm just so used to, my normal shopping habits. Mm-hmm. And this was the summer of 2016 that I guess I had this aha moment that like, okay, well, if it doesn't exist, maybe I should try it. Maybe I should try and, start something. And I started online. That is the easiest entry, I think, into if you're doing like a product-based business, to start an e-commerce site. And so I started that website with the intention of creating this one-stop shop place, but knowing that if I was going to take it seriously, that it was going to have a physical component to it. But I felt like starting online was just kind of a way for me just to see if this is something that I wanted to do. Even though I knew it was a good idea, it was like, okay, well, I have no experience in the business of beauty. I have no experience in retail other than as a teenager working at, a store, but not really understanding how to run and operate my own business in a new industry. And it started like that, but then I just felt like everything just kept building and going from there, where I just like, I didn't have a business plan. So like, that's how much it was just kind of like, okay, it's an idea, let me start it.
Right.
The business plan came later, and it really just started with just ideas of what I wanted to see. And it just started to take on. I started doing pop-ups. In the first year of the online store, I started doing pop-ups in New York, LA, Miami. And every time I would go somewhere and meet, women that look like me, everyone was excited and everyone wanted to see more. And so it just kept building, and then it just made sense. Like, if I'm going to do this, I need to do it. And that's when I guess I started thinking of myself as like a real entrepreneur, when I thought like, okay, well, I'm going to take this seriously. So I need a business plan. I need to, figure out this law career. Like, I was okay with leaving it because I always wanted to have my own business. But it was just a lot of just internal thinking of like what I really wanted to do and what I really wanted to see for my future. And at the same time, wondering what my passion was, not knowing that this was going to be exactly what I was meant to do.
It's like the field of dreams. If you build it, they will come.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's exactly what your story sounds like. You were just like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and then everything else sort of, started falling into place. How did you decide on the name Marjani?
So I knew I was going down this path of I'm starting a business for my people, right? And it was funny because it was during that summer. I don't know what, I can't remember what was going on during that time, where I was just feeling like just everything Black owned for some reason. And so like the idea of the business definitely came at a moment in time where I was just feeling that whatever I would do in business, and it didn't come, like, I wasn't thinking about the beauty thing yet, but I was thinking like, okay, if I do something, I want it to be, focused on the community, whatever, then this came at the same time. So then it kind of made sense. But I knew whatever I did, I wanted it to mean something, and it to not just be business for the sake of business. And so around this time, I was doing a lot of traveling as well. So I, at that point, I was thinking that whatever business I did do, I wanted it to be like a global business. So I wanted it to touch women of color around the world. And I was thinking, I think I just probably had gone to South Africa maybe like a year prior or something like that. And I met some really cool people, and they were doing some really interesting business things down there. And I was like, oh, if I do a business, I want to be something where maybe I can somehow bring it over to the continent. And I was thinking all this stuff, right? And so I wanted the name to kind of capture something, to like mean something. So Marjani means, like, a loose translation is she who was precious like coral, in Swahili. And so when I saw that name, I was thinking like, okay, like I want this business to be, all about women, and like uplifting women, being empowered, women, like all of this kind of stuff. And so I thought like, okay, a semi-precious stone, like that's something that's, it signifies beauty, it's strength, it's all that. So the name just kind of stuck with me. And I don't know where I was looking, where I even found the name, but like the name just kind of stuck. And so like that, me thinking about that and like what I wanted to do with the business, and then wanting everything to be about, women, really celebrating women that, that look like us, all the different tones from light all the way to dark, and textures and all that stuff. And then envisioning that one day, I don't know how and in what capacity, that I would somehow do business somewhere on the continent at some point or something. So yeah, it was like all these things I was just kind of thinking and manifesting, but I wanted the name to mean something to me, and overall kind of capture what the mission was, and where I really kind of saw it going, or going really.
I love that. I do too. So deep.
Sometimes I'm deep. Yes, sometimes.
So, fast forwarding just a little bit here, what was the deciding factor when you decided to go create the Brown Beauty Co-op?
Yeah, so that came about a conversation with my business partner Amaya at the time. She wanted to do, she always wanted to have like a natural hair business, a business that curated events around natural hair, curated products, just a space where you would take, I guess, the conversations that was happening like on YouTube and online communities around natural hair, but like bring that like in real life. And so at the time that we had this conversation, I was about a year and a half into the e-commerce site, and I knew at that point, okay, like this is the year. If I'm going to do this, I want to have a physical extension to this business. And so when we were talking about it, we're like, okay, well, let's create something where we could, operate our businesses separately, but we could create some kind of concept around around beauty, around women of color, Black and brown women, and something where we could really create like a place where you could find community, but like network, have events, all that stuff. And so we thought of the concept of a cooperative because we wanted to be able to operate our separate brands, our separate businesses, but do it in a way where we were doing it together as a duo. And at the time, we also kind of thought that setting it up as a cooperative, we could always invite other businesses too to kind of join the cooperative and expand it. So it wouldn't just always be about just us two. And so it was a way for me to be able to grow my business because then I was able to, everything I was doing online, I can do it, out of this space. And it was a way to create this platform where we could do more than just do retail. And the co-op really, and it's still evolving and what I really want it to be. And so it started to be this place where, we had small businesses come and do events in the space where we would do networking. People would just come and just naturally meet and talk about business. And that to me was just a beautiful thing to see. But we would, outside of the brands that we were carrying on our separate websites, we'd have other small businesses that were local come in and utilize the space because we felt that like there's not many, we know this, there's not many Black owned physical businesses, outside of like the food industry and like, hair salons, other things, but like other businesses in DC. And especially on that corridor where we are, there was at one time, I think there was 3 of us or 4 in Connecticut Avenue downtown. After COVID, it was just us. And I think there's another business that's probably going to pop up not too far from us, but there weren't a lot of physical spaces in downtown where businesses could come and do pop-ups like that in a way that it was like a curated space. So the co-op that was the intention of that, for it to be a space that we could share with other business owners and the community, really. And that was, and at the time I thought like, okay, like that's just, it's a cool, interesting concept. It's a way for us to pull resources together. Because as you can imagine, it's expensive to open up a brick and mortar store, especially if you're located downtown. But it was a way to kind of think about, hey, we're not going to sit here and wait for investors. We're not going to sit and wait for traditional loans or anything. Like, we want to get started. So what better way to get started than to pool resources, from 2 career women who, were doing other things in their career, but could do it if they did it together, if they had other resources to kind of pull from, could make it happen.
Love the girl power.
Yes.
Yes. And As a frequent visitor of the co-op pre-pandemic,
Yes.
I can definitely attest to the vibe that you all created. It really is a special place,
Yeah.
and you all are so welcoming. There have been moments where we would like come in and literally just kick it for like an hour.
Yeah, and
Like,
just talk.
just talk. Like some days we played in makeup, other days we were just like, let's go see Pam and Amaya.
Yeah. Exactly. And that is exactly what, in my mind, what I envision. Like, what would be so cool to have a place like that? Like our own, like, cheers, if you will. Like you could come and
Right.
you already know what the vibe is, you know? Like I think that's and even in the era of everything, you know, online and everything happening in the Amazon era, there's still
Yeah.
a place for community in the way where you want to socialize.
Right.
And of course, even like the COVID has definitely showed us that.
Right.
Like, you know, as much as the introvert that I am, I still, you know, just appreciate and value just being able to socialize with people, you know?
Yeah. And you kind of talked about growing and evolving. What were some of the growing pains you experienced as an online brand,
Mm-hmm.
specifically in the beauty industry? And then how are those growing pains different from, or how do they differ now that you have a storefront as well?
Yeah, I think growing from, I mean, beauty is a very tactile experience. Like you, again, is like as much as we all do a lot of shopping online and a lot of beauty shopping, we do. But a huge part of it is being able to try it, you know, try it, smell it, feel it.
Right.
You know, you want to just look at it in your eyes and kind of see, obviously things look different in real life than it does on a screen.
Right, right.
And especially for us, you know, that are melanin blessed, like we need to try stuff out sometimes because it'll look, you know, a certain way on the screen that you see it in person. You're just like, no, like this is not doing anything, right? Yeah, like we need to try stuff. Like it's like trial and error, and we need, and it has to be more than just online. And so I think the challenge initially was like, okay, well, how am I going to do it in a real way? Like, how can you, and not in a way that's like, and I always say that it's a distinction from like our traditional beauty supply versus like what we've created. Like a beauty supply is something that, you know, it's a different experience. Like we're going there to get something. We're going there, you know, we need bonnets, we need shampoo, we need bobby pins, we need, you know, like you need to go here and get something and you come out. When you go into like an Ulta or a Sephora or a Faux Lane or Blue Mercury or places like that, like you do go in there, you spend more time because a lot of these places have other services that they provide. Or you know, you're there and you're kind of talking with beauty experts, right? So you're just spending, it's a different experience than the traditional beauty supply that Black women. So we go through these different worlds of like how we shop for beauty. So the challenge to me was like, how do I create that when I don't have that money? Like I don't have that money to necessarily create that. Like I'll have to grow into that. So like that I found like, okay, how am I going to do it and like do it right so that if it's this elevated experience, it looks and feels elevated. Like, you know, how do you do that? And then like, how do you do that and have a lot of brands that, you know, for the most part, people won't recognize initially. So like when I started, you know, I started with like 12 brands online and then opening the store, I was like, well, am I gonna have enough brands to eat for people to come and shop in the store? Like that, I was nervous about that. And so there's brands that I had in the beginning that weren't as known. Like when Black Girl Sunscreen came out, that was I remember meeting Shantae at a conference, and that was like 2018 or something like that. And so when I started carrying it, I think she was in maybe one store or two stores online, but like it wasn't as popular then as it is now, or rather it wasn't well known. And so it was like, people coming in, you're literally trying to sell people like, hey, this product is for you, and people just like, what? I don't know, like, because we're so used to shopping certain brands that we've come accustomed to. So that was a challenge in the beginning of like curating these brands. And I only wanted to do Black and brown brands. I didn't want to do brands that necessarily that we liked or we could use. I really wanted to be focused on that. So I felt that was difficult in the beginning. Like, yes, it's 2021 now, 4 years ago, that was very difficult. That selling, and I'm not even, selling is not my career. Like, I am not a salesperson. So this was strictly from like, all right, we gotta make this real personal. Like, I am doing this for you because like I'm doing it for me. Like, I'm using these products. Like, this, I had to really sell the mission, the message, all of that to like slowly start to build interest, the following, all that stuff. So I think that to me was the biggest challenge initially. And then you're online. So you're online, you're trying to do all this.
Break through the noise.
So yeah, it was I think that was definitely the challenge, like when there wasn't really no one else doing it. So it was, to me, it was just like, oh man, like, how am I going to get, Black women are very brand loyal.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Look, people still out here with their ruby woo. So
hello, listen, like, still with the ruby woos. We have our moms that are still probably using Mary Kay.
Fashion Fair, if Fashion Fair was still available.
Listen,
people everywhere.
Yeah.
Listen, we will use, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. So it's like, the good thing is we are brand loyal. The bad thing is we are brand loyal. Right. So if you are able to just like get in and just be able to sell and convince women that, hey, this product that you've never heard of before is equally as good or better than the product that you've always used or that everybody else is using. If you're able to convert that customer, oh, you're good. Because that customer is going to be loyal, and then they're going to tell all their friends that like, hey, you need to use this. And that is going to be a wonderful thing. But is that initial just introduction to something new is definitely a challenge. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So during the pandemic, especially like last summer around this time, with the social unrest, how do you, with the social unrest and the new interest in Black-owned brands, how are you able to build your personal brand as the authority in brown girl beauty? And what kind of motivated you to leverage your voice in business during all of that?
Mm-hmm. I think for us, and us, like you too as well, just us Black women, it felt like we were finally able to say out loud in public a lot of things that we were probably saying in private and having private conversations. A lot of our frustrations, it was finally, we're finally able to voice those things and be really unapologetic about it.
Right.
And I think that, and people were actually listening.
Yeah.
And I think in whatever industry you're in, like if you've always just, had an opinion and shared it, this was just a way to do it, and for it to kind of like really mean something, and for it to really like reach other people beyond just your friend group or beyond just us doing certain panels for each other, but doing, speaking where there's other people listening, potential allies listening, people that were not allies, but maybe just hear you, on some platform or something, maybe thinking about something because some minds were opened. Obviously there's still so much work to do, but there definitely were a lot of minds open. And I would say that at the end of the day, like when it comes to business, right, it makes sense to listen to us. Yeah. And I think we were voicing that, it's not about like, we don't necessarily need you to like come do a kumbaya, but if at the end of the day, we can find like, some financial parity, like, let's talk about that. Like, let's just keep it about, business and just show you why you need to listen to us when we're speaking, like why you need to, maybe invest in our businesses or, why we should be hired, why we should be in different rooms that we're not in. And I definitely, for me, like I started this business and it's crazy because in the beginning it was, well, I don't know if you should, start a business that's only targeting Black and brown women. Are you sure you want to do that? You shouldn't limit your target that way. Like that was, when I tell you, like I heard that all of the time. And now it's like, oh, like, it's like, it's the thing to do. So I definitely, for me, I was like, oh, I'm going to talk. Like I have a lot to say. There's women that even in my stint of, being an entrepreneur, it's been 4 years. But I have experience in corporate America as well. So like, I know that side of it. I know, the side of being in rooms where I'm the only, the only minority, the only female, and, having white men question, things I say or the advice that I'm giving, looking at me like I'm crazy. But then someone says, a white older man say the same thing I say, then it's like, oh yeah, you're right. And I'm like, wait a minute, I just said that, So it's like, I know that side of it. And now owning a business, it's a whole other thing, but it's still the same. Like, it's still the same where we just want our voices to be heard because we know what we're talking about. Like, we're the most educated group, right? The most college educated. We start businesses at a faster rate. So like, why not lean into that? So I definitely, as much as, I was given the opportunity, I was going to use it to talk about the frustrations that I was experiencing being a small business owner, having to bootstrap, but having a business that is targeting a demographic that is outspending their counterparts in this area, but yeah, like it's not reflected in anything. So it's just, things just didn't make sense. So it's like, unless we talk about it, we're not going to be able to help, change certain things.
That's amazing. And it's really been a pleasure and a privilege to kind of watch you blossom kind of as this authority. Yes, you are an authority at this point. And using your voice for activism as well. People tend to think that activism is just in the realm of like social justice, but it's but it's everywhere, honestly.
Yeah.
In all the spaces. Yes, definitely. So, I mean, what's next? What's on the horizon for Marjani? And how are people able to support you in your journey?
Yeah, so this really is just the beginning, to be quite honest, because now being an indie retailer, having one location, being able to grow, being able to make sure that this business is a success, it's, it's still, to me, I think there's still a long way to go. There's like, I want to see more than one location. I want to see it expand. So that's something for sure that I want to make sure happens. And I'm getting into product development, and which I said I never would do. Like,
so exciting.
I said I just would never, because it's so much, and it's like I don't want to like add that on to like everything. But again, when you start to see a white space and you're just sitting back and you're like, okay, someone should do this. And you're like, okay, well, damn it. Okay, well, I'm just going to do it. So like I came to that realization that like there's some opportunity, like in the beauty space, where there's just, there's certain things that, customers are coming in asking for. And I'm like, okay, there's definitely some opportunity there. So I'm in the process of developing something. I would say closer to the end of the year is when I will be able to talk about it more. But I am excited because I get to tap into like a creative part, which I never thought I was creative. Like, that's so interesting. I never thought I was creative. It's just it is so, and like now I'm like, oh my gosh, like, and it's fun. So that is definitely in the works. Product development. I want to do more this year with the Brown Beauty Co-op, and expanding more into education and working with newer brands, and helping them to like navigate potential retail, and like what it takes to be successful in this space, where it's like, it's so we lack a lot of information and we're kind of behind the curve when it does come to actually developing products and trying to figure out like, how do we scale and get it into these larger retailers. There's so much information, and so I definitely want to be a part of that, and helping to provide solutions, education, all that. So we did a conference earlier this year, but I do want to start doing that more frequently. So that's something for sure that that we're going to continue to work on and grow. And personally, I do want to do more. I give a lot of information for free. I realize this, where I have people are always telling me like, why aren't you monetizing a lot of like what you're doing?
Yeah.
And I would say, because like, when you like talking about something, you just talk about it. Like, you literally just be in conversation. You're just like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, okay, so I do need to I guess I need to pull back a little bit, because I still just don't always. I do feel like there's certain things that should come naturally, where, especially if someone comes into the store, like, I think sometimes it's like a fine balance. We do a disservice sometimes where we hold on to information so tight, and that we're always feeling like we have to charge for everything. So that is a fine line that I'm going to try to balance, because I still want to be able to give information to freely, but at the same time, obviously I can't give everything away, right? So that is something more that I am working on, I guess, on my like individual branding, is just I'll probably start doing more consulting and like really kind of drilling down and growing that part of the business. So there's a lot of different moving parts that I'm really excited about. But always, the store is number one. So continuing to expand, to have more brands, more products, for customers to be able to come and get all of their goodies. So that obviously is number one. But I'm excited about how it's growing, for sure. Like, this is going to be a great year.
What?
Yeah.
So exciting. Yeah. We'll be ready for pre-orders. I know.
Yes. It's going to be good.
So exciting. So exciting.
This is all good stuff. Really
yes. 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 Okay. And I can just get some help.
I got you, girl.
Listen, we gotta figure this out, okay? Because I need help. I got too many ideas. I'm only one person. I can't execute all this stuff.
I get it.
Mm-hmm. That is real. Yeah. All right. So now we're gonna dive into one of our favorite parts of this time together. And it's just a little game. We love to play this or that. So we just want you to pick one of the options. And if you feel the need to elaborate, please do. Yeah. So first, red lip or nude lip?
Bam. Yes, red lip. Although I do like a nude too, but red lips go too.
I feel you on that. Texting or talking on the phone?
Oh my gosh, texting. Why are you calling me? This is a conversation. This is textable. If it's textable, text me. Do not call. Do not.
Or when you text someone and they call you back and you're like,
listen, it was like either a yes or no. It was a quick, like 1 sentence, 2 sentence max reply. That's it. Like, I can text you all night. I can text you all day. We could just be going in. But when I see that phone, I'm just like, oh, it's like the anxiety I get when someone's calling. Right. You would think they're knocking on my door. I'm just like,
I'm at least like, hey, can we talk about this right quick before I do? Unless it's my mama. Yes, I'm like, you know what? This is going to be an extended conversation.
It's going to be, like she's probably the only person. It's like my boyfriend's like that. He's a caller. Like I even like now, and we live together. Like I'm a texter. He still just wants to pick up the phone and call. I'm just like, okay, even him, I'm still like, yo, you can text me, right? My mom is like, she's the only person that obviously I'll talk on the phone, but like her is different because we'll be on the phone and after we stop talking, it'll still be quiet. I'll be doing something, like she starts doing something. I forget like we're even on the phone, right? That's my mom. Yeah. We don't need to do that. Like, unless it's like something like, girl, I need to talk. Okay. Then we can talk.
Right. We can't have a paper trail. Can't have
yes. And it's like, okay, like, all right, let's pick up this phone and talk. But on a daily basis, text me. I'm looking at that phone and I'm gonna look at it and just send it right.
Guilty. Okay, so Prosecco or rosé?
Prosecco. Although I do like frosés. Frosés are good. Yeah, let's say Prosecco.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Podcast or audiobooks?
Podcasts. Yeah, podcasts.
Apple Music or Spotify?
Oh, Apple Music. Yes, Apple Music. I don't really get Spotify. I don't understand. I don't know. I haven't used it. I don't really use it often, but do they allow you to listen to full albums or like how?
I think I don't use Spotify either, but I believe that Spotify, Apple Music, like you can, what we pay for Apple Music, you can do the same on Spotify.
Yeah, I think Spotify just has a better user experience because they have like, oh, here's your playlist based on everything you listen to, or here's what you listen to all year, your top 25 for the year, and that sort of thing. And they have like cool graphics that you can like, so they're slowly like evolving into like a cool tech company.
Well, am I missing the boat then?
I'm missing it. If it's a boat, I ain't on it either. I am not there.
Because I feel Apple Music does all of that. And so I'm going to stick beside it. So I'm good.
Yeah, girl, it's funny. We had another guest who's like Spotify all day. So it's interesting hearing the answers.
Yeah, like I just don't even get it. And I even try to, because when I'm at the store, we have Pandora, Spotify, and Apple Music. My choice is always Apple Music, but I think Amaya, like she'll do Pandora or like Spotify. I'll look at it. I'm just like, I don't know what that. I don't know that's Spotify. I don't know that's Spotify. What is that?
That's so accurate. Now that I think about like, especially like the demographics and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, online shopping or in-store shopping?
Online. Yes, online for sure. I guess when it comes to it differs. So for like, obviously for beauty stuff, I like to go in stores, like to do all that stuff. But for everything else, I am definitely online. I am sitting there, like I'm going through different websites. I'm looking, like I'm price checking. I'm trying to find one item. Like I'm doing all of that. I am definitely all of that. Clothes, love to shop online for clothes. So I feel that there's just a better selection. Like even if it's a store that we'll have here, I feel like the in-store experience is just like, I don't know. I don't like it. It's funny because I went to look for a dress. Because last minute I didn't have enough time to order something online. And so I went to Georgetown and I was trying to find a dress. And I was just like, oh, this sucks. Like just going from store to store. And then you like try things on. Then it's just like the selection. It's just not a fun experience. But online, like I have a good old time.
I know. I hate trying on clothes.
Yes. Remember, we used to go to the mall. They used to be fun.
I know.
Oh, to be young.
I know.
You had to be there.
Yeah, you had to be there.
You had to. Like now, man, is that? I think that ages us, right? Remember, we used to go to the mall.
Right.
It does.
Get dropped off.
Yes. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the cute boys.
Right before there were like, what is it? What is it?
Yep,
Curfews,
curfew.
parents, curfews and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
Oh, girl.
Oh,
that is funny.
Yeah. So this was such an amazing time. We appreciate you so much for popping up with us.
Yes.
And we're coming to the store to film one day.
You should. That would be so cool. Like that would be dope for real. Like that.
It is.
Yes.
And you can be
you could be like right in the little station area in the window, right? Yeah, like that. I'm feeling that.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
There's
not sit on the couch.
We put it out there. It's gonna happen.
Just let me know when y'all in the area. Y'all are welcome. Open invitation. Just come on. Make it happen.
Thank you so much. So where can the folks find you online?
Yes, so you can find me online at marjanibeauty.com, Online stores open 24/7. And social media, Instagram is Marjani Beauty Co. Facebook is Marjani Beauty. And if you are in the DMV or if you are visiting the DMV, the location is 1365 Connecticut Avenue, Suite 100. We love to see faces in the place. And yeah, I mean, you never know. Like, we like to have wine and stuff, so we probably have some wine sitting out waiting. So you gotta come through.
They do. Yes.
Oh, well, thank you again for just spending this time with us. We don't want to hold you too long, so we definitely appreciate you coming and chatting with us today.
Yes, thank you both. I appreciate the invitation. Love the girl chats. And yeah, I can't wait to see you guys in real life. But thank you again. It definitely was a pleasure, for sure.